the imam turned up to the police station and he said, you know what? We need to arrest this guy. Yes, he might not get anywhere, but we need to send him a message that you do not mess with the mosques. How dare you say the white people are not racist? How dare you say Tommy Robinson is a patriot to the country? He's not. If you don't hold them accountable, they will go around, they will rape the women and children, the boys, the men. They do anything because you're not holding them accountable.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Nick Talks. This episode's amazing and returning guest, good friend of mine online, Shoab Sahel. How are you doing?
Hi Nick, thank you very much for having me again. And I'm doing very well, given the circumstances. I'm sure you know what has happened. I don't know if many people know, but my charges have been dropped. So 10 months of lawfare against me by the Muslim community, by the Pakistanis and Bengalis and the Islamists and the Imams, and also the Swansea South Wales Police. So, thank God it has all been dropped now.
And so it should have done. It shouldn't have took this long. And for people who don't know, have a look at our previous conversation. That'll get you up to date. But in a nutshell, you had the anti-terrorist police call at your house because you attended a so-called far-right demonstration where you just spoke to people to find out if they were racist, what they were about. And because you attended, you were deemed as a potential terrorist. And then the next day, you were arrested by the South Wales police, locked up for 15 hours in a cell, charged with being racist, charged with being Islamophobic, even though you are a Muslim yourself. And all those charges now have been dropped, which is fantastic. First of all, how did you find out? Did you get a phone call, a letter? Did the solicitor talk to you? How did you find out?
Okay, so basically what it is, the solicitor that I had initially when I was arrested, when I was in custody. So the solicitor that came in, they are a firm in Swansea. And like I said, I'm not a criminal. I never knew about how these things were, what are the laws. Like, I don't want to break the law, so I just follow the laws that are given to me. So this lady that turned up, my solicitor, and she said to me, oh, this is the proof against you. So I've been in the cell now for 15 hours from morning, and it was like 1 a.m. And she's telling me, she sat there and she was behaving like my mother, rather than being my solicitor and telling me, okay, you know what? Yes, you have said things online, which is fine. Let's get into it. Let's see how we can get you out of this. She didn't do none of that. She sat there and she said to me, oh, why would you say that? Why would you talk about the Pakistanis, the rapist gangs? And why would you say these things about the Bengalis and the Muslims? And I looked at her and I said, this is not me saying anything. It's basically a lot of the things that I said online were me defending myself, because I realized the moment I said the white people are not racist, all these Pakistanis, Bengalis, and the Muslims, they came out with their fake account like they always do. They start leaking my information, things about my family that not many people know about my family, but they start leaking them things. And I said to the lawyer, I said, you're supposed to be my solicitors. Why are you saying these things? We are here now. What are we going to do to help me? I don't want to get locked up. I don't want to be in jail. Should I get, don't worry, you will be out on bail. There were 7 cases that they brought against you from the Muslim community, surprise, surprise, from the Muslim community. And the thing that she said to me, and which was very surprising, she said, out of all of them, I think a lot of them will get dropped, but there is one complaint that they will not get dropped and you will be charged. And that was the impression I was under, that I will be getting charged, because I had more than 30 people turn up at one point to the police station making a complaint against me. It was like all of them got together at a mosque and they turned up. They're like, you know what, this is what we're going to do. So yes, it was very dangerous. And I was hoping that, somebody from the police, because the police have been harassing me. They've been calling me every other day. Oh, can we get the password to your ex? Can we get the access to your Facebook account? Can we again get an access to your phone? They had my phone with them for the last 11 months. And I kept telling them no, but they will always find a way to give me a call. And they start harassing me to a point where I start recording their call. And that's the only time. And I explained to the police officer, you've been calling me quite a bit. You've been harassing me. I've got a lawyer. Speak to them. You won't speak to them. You try to speak to me. I don't know. You're trying to catch me off guard because, I'm not a criminal. You're making me say something that you might then use against me. I don't know what it is, but to let you know, I am recording your call. That was the last time he called me. So this shows This actually shows that these police officers, even though they say, oh, the calls are recorded, but are they really? Can these calls really get lost in the system? Because I used to work for the call center when I used to work for HSBC, and I know calls do get lost in the system if they wanted to. And that's what they were banking on. Oh, we're going to harass him. And if he does take it to the court, we can just say, we lost the phone calls. But when I was recording them, they know they can't get rid of it. So like I said, I was hoping the police will give me a call.
Let me just interrupt there. The only calls that are recorded to the police is when you dial 999 or 101. Those calls are recorded. An officer phoning you from the police station is never recorded. Please excuse this interruption. Anglophobia. Why do they hate us? Is it jealousy, envy?
All right. And I wouldn't say they're calling me from the police station. A lot of them he'll call me from his cell phone, and I know that because it will come up as no caller ID. So I don't know how it was, but like I said, look, I found this whole process very dodgy, and I've got amazing people like yourself, Nick. I watch your videos, I get a lot of information. I got people like Paul Thorpe, Richard Inman. These people have been standing with me since day one, and they were the one were guiding me rather than it should have been my solicitors telling me, you need to be careful, you shouldn't say this or this. They didn't tell me anything. So it was only 2 weeks ago when I actually did that interview, our last interview that I did with you. I had a lot of people reaching out to me, and there were some people there who actually gave me a really good advice. There were a lot of people who were ready to help me out. There were people asking me if they can, do something for me, like pay for this, pay for that. Like amazing people. And like I said, it's all thanks to you, Nick. And there was another guy, Haris Sultan, is an ex-Muslim. He did we did a podcast in his own language, in Urdu. And I got a lot of people reaching out to me. And 2 weeks ago, I made the decision of taking a loan from, some of my neighbors and some of the people that I know. And I actually went out and hired myself a private lawyer. So this was 2 weeks ago. And literally a couple of days ago, my lawyer just called me and they said to me, they have dropped all the charges against you. And I was like, that's a shock. I was actually shocked. I was like, I can't believe it. And they were like, yeah, the charges have been dropped a few days ago. Like it's almost been a week, the charges have been dropped. The reason why I've only found out now, because my private lawyers then started investigating and started saying that, we need all the files that you had to the other solicitors from Sonsi, and they didn't reply to them. And the only response that they got from another police officer saying that, the charges have been dropped. So basically, the charges were dropped on me a long time ago, but they never told me. They literally sat on my phone. They won't say anything to me. So then, obviously, I got a bit annoyed. Nick, like I said, I'm not a criminal. Obviously, it shows now that all the charges have been dropped. I'm not a criminal. I never have been. I've been a law-abiding citizen. I think this thing has annoyed me to a point where I had to take $7,000 for somebody from a loan, like, which I can't afford. I can't even pay my bills. I've come to that point. But doing that, and for the police to just not tell me that, the charges have been dropped. But they went on, and I have people in the mosque who actually messaged me, and somebody messaged me before I found all this out, and he was just saying to me, hey, is everything okay with you? Because, we have seen the imams at the mosque, they have been telling people what to do and what not to do online, because this 10 months, I was not allowed to do anything to the people at the mosque. If they were saying something, I would just sit there and I would ignore it because that was my gagging order. But when these imams will start scrambling before I got to know, so it shows that they were told by the police officer who didn't overreach. I 100% believe that it was an overreach by putting me in prison. And I found out why I was put in prison. Again, it was because I hired private lawyers. So, well, anyways, I went to the police station today. I've got let me show it to you real quick. I've got my phone back. They even gave me this case, and I think this case is because if somebody tried to get in to the phone when the police have your phone, it's weird that it's a signal jammer or something. But yeah, here we've got this. So when I went into the police station today to get my phone back, I said to the lady on I think she was one of the admin on the reception. I said to her, "Can I speak to the police officer who charged me?" Who thought it was he had evidence that was good enough, that he knew that I'm going to get charged, that he dragged this for 10 months. And not only that, he did not tell me that I was the charges were dropped till my lawyers actually called in to ask what's going on, what's the update on the case. So I want to speak to him. She said, I'm going to go get him, see if he can come down. And I said, don't see. I'm going to sit here for as long as I need to, because I need to look him in the eye. And I need to just let him know that he has done an overreach, and I will be making a complaint against him. So she went upstairs for 5 minutes. She came back. She said, he's not going to speak to you. I said, why not? Yeah, because the supervisor have said, you record all the calls And because the way you speak to the police officers, they don't want to speak to you. I said, so now you're telling me a police officer who's supposed to be imposing the law on actual criminals, right? I'm not a criminal. I'm not standing there with a knife or a gun. I'm just a guy. Look, I'm just a guy. I'm just sat there, and I just want to speak to him. He refused to speak to me because I keep fact checking these guys. I keep telling them the facts because they're like, oh, the Pakistanis, oh, they're such a nice people. The Muslims are so kind. They're so tolerant. They're not. They're not. You have 30 people turn up to the police station in one time to make a complaint against me because I said something online. These are the tolerant people. You think these are the tolerant people? Do you think they care? They don't care. They know how to play the system. And because I've been fact checkers, and I'm sure you have seen that video with the prevent police officers, he was so hurt that I said that there is a problem within the Pakistani community, my own community, that they have a habit of going around. If you don't hold them accountable, they will go around, they will rape the women and children, the boys, the men. They do anything because you're not holding them accountable. And the police officer, a white prevent police officer, got so hurt that he said to me, oh, you better watch out. You don't dare say that because you might go to jail for it. Well, I'm just stating the facts. I'm not making things up. I am speaking from my experience. You cannot tell me that my experience is irrelevant because I am a Pakistani. No, it's not relevant. Everyone's experience is relevant because we are talking about something that I've been through. So I was there for 15 minutes. I was going back and forth. Then 2 police officers came in, or they were like, oh, you need to leave now. If you're not going to leave, we will hold you here for. And I was obviously, I was scared and they know I don't want to get locked up again. So what I have learned from all this now, that they knew that they won't be able to charge me. These were so pathetic excuse of saying that, he's going to get charged because he's committed a crime. Why? Because I stated facts about my own community. Nick, is like you're criticizing a white person, you're somebody from your own community, probably someone from your own faith, and the police then are like, how dare you, Nick? It never happens.
And that doesn't matter. You should be able to criticize anybody you want to criticize. You don't have to be the same religion, the same group, the same ethnicity. We have a right in this country, freedom of speech, which means we can criticize anybody we want, even if we're wrong. We still be able to criticize people.
Yeah, well, I know you say that, Nick, but a guy who's been through the system, I never wish that I would have been through. Like I said, I've been here since 2008 as a student. Then went back to Saudi Arabia, worked there for a bit, came here in 2018. And unfortunately, like, what you just said was always been my dream because, I don't know if you know much about Pakistani politicians. I remember growing up in Saudi Arabia and there was this guy, Imran Khan, an amazing cricketer, obviously turned a politician as well. So whenever we used to see his speech, because he was the only guy who used to speak in English, and every time he would speak and say something, he will always talk about the amazing Scotland Yard. Oh, if you want to be a great country, you have to be like the British. If you want to be great, amazing people, you have to be white British. And he always emphasized, when he used to say British, he never used to say, oh, just Brit. No, he used to say the white Brits, the real British people. That's who you need to see and that's who you need to follow. And now I'm seeing what's going on from the things that I had in my head. Unfortunately, up until last year, I was very pro-police. People used to say to me, oh, you know what? You don't get it. The police is corrupt. And I said, no. The British police, never. No. But what I've been through now, what has happened to me now, and to a point where a police officer is actually acting like a child, where he said, oh, I don't want to speak to him because he's fact-checking me. I'm not rude to him. I never swear at anybody. I don't swear at people. That's not my thing. I do believe I've got a vocabulary where I can make my point without being hostile or without swearing at people, because I know some people, they don't have the vocabulary, so they feel the need to swear each time. I'm not one of them guys, even though English is not my first or second language, it's my third language. So, but like I said, I was hoping to be excited, I was hoping to be happy, but I look at my wife, I look at my daughter. So I don't think many of your viewers know that I am married to a white Welsh woman who did have, well, we've been married for 5 years, known each other for 6 years. She's got a daughter who's special needs, and she lives with us full time. So what this process has done to me is nothing compared to what they've put my wife, who's white again, like I said, put her and her daughter, our daughter through. And I think this is unforgivable. I will never forgive the police. I will never forgive the Muslim community. They can say whatever they want. They can apologize to me to all they want. The police have said, oh, we will write you a letter of apology. No, you have. Well, for me, I'm a man, and second, I do believe in myself that I'm a very strong man, because when they tried to intimidate me last year, This is the same guy who made the complaint against me, one of the imams of the Swansea Mosque, who turned up to my basketball match at 10 p.m. when I finished my game as I was leaving for home with 8 of his thugs buddies in October. And he said to me, oh, you know what? You need to delete your ex. How dare you say the white people are not racist? How dare you say Tommy Robinson is a patriot to the country? He's not. You need to delete your ex. And I told him, no. I said, well, you're going to beat me up? Is that what you're going to do in a park? No, you can beat me up all you want, but I can promise you I'm not going to delete anything. So they tried an intimidation tactic. So I'm sure you know, Nick, this is what the Muslims do. Intimidation, turn up with 5, 8, 10, 20 thugs, face covered, acting like hooligans, because that's exactly who they are, hooligans. And to this imam, he said to me, oh, you know what? I live in Swansea for 31 years. I was born in this country. I am from this country. You're an immigrant. You're a white man's bootlicker. You're a coconut. Why are you, what is it that you say all these things? Or you love the UK? And to him, I will say to him that, when I landed in Heathrow in 2008, I was very new. And when I got off that plane, I looked at the things, what UK was at back in the day in 2008. Everything that I looked at UK, it was amazing. It was all greatness. So I just thought to myself, you know what, if I ever wanted to set up a life, it will be the UK. It will be this Great Britain. And that's what happened. I went back after completing my university and everything in 2017. And in 2018, that was the time I came to the UK. And in my head, I was like, you know what, this is my home. I am going to make this my home. I'm not here to change anything. I'm not here to call myself British. But I can tell you one thing that I did. When I got off that plane in 2018, when I got off this plane, I kissed this land. I love this land. And that's why I said, you know what, this is why I'm here. This is the reason why I am here. I love this country and I'm a patriot to this country. And it shows not from my words, but from the actions that I've taken, the things that they've put me through. They were hoping that in between these 11 months, I'll fold up and I'll say, you know what, please forgive me. And because that's what the mosque expect you to do, to turn up to the mosque and say, you know, please forgive me. I'm sorry for what I have done. I'm not going to do it again. I'll be a nice boy. I'll be a good Muslim for you guys. I'll say whatever you want me to say. I never say the white people are not racist. I'll say, yeah, the white people are racist. They are the problem. Can you please take the case back? And I know they would have taken it. And they were hoping and they were banking on it. The police were banking on it. The counterterrorism police, they come to my house. They were banking on it. And the Home Office, by the way, who has still got my application. It's been 4 months, Nick. They have not given me a reply or response on my application, which they have refused 3 months ago. And like I said, I'm married to a white British woman. I've been in this country 10 years. I have been in this country 10 years legally on the paper, and I've done everything. I always used to work, which I couldn't since last year as well. I lost my job. But then you have that guy that turned up, that Afghan that turned up in the back of the lorry in 2020, was given ILR, indefinite leave to remain, in the UK in 2 years. In 2 years, they gave him ILR. And guess what he did? He goes out and he killed that innocent man who was walking his dog, Wayne Brothers. That's what he does. So for them, oh yeah, we give him the passport straight away. A guy who's been here 10 years legally, oh, we need to look into your case a little bit more. And I know why it is. Because the mosque, the Swansea Mosque, got people who work for the Home Office. And this was happening. They were holding on to the fact that we hope that he gets charged with the police so we can reject him. We can say, you know what, you're a criminal and we don't want you in the country. They will have anyone else. But for these imam, I'll say this, I'm a patriot to this country. Why the hell are you here? You hate everything. You should be deported, not because you're a Bengali, not because you're an Islamist, not because you're an extremist, but because the fact that you hate this country so much that every time I heard you, oh, the UK is bad, the white people are this, the British people are that, or they're this, they've done that. Why the hell are you here? Why are you here? Is everything about, oh, we want to talk about Gaza all the time? Why pack up and go to Gaza? Who's stopping you? I will pay for you. I got nothing. I'll sell everything that I've got. I'm ready to sell anything. If that imam comes out and say, you know what? Yeah, I hate the UK. Don't want to be here. I'll get you one way.
A great question. And we're going to answer that question over the next 5-10 years, because people like that imam, even if he was born here, some of those people will be going home. Some of those people will be going back to their ancestral homeland, even if they were born here, because they've not integrated and they hate the country and they're a problem. So some of them will be deported. Some of them will be repatriated to their home country. So fingers crossed over the next 5-10 years, people like him won't be here any longer. Just to end on the police would have always known this was going nowhere. They always would have known that. What they did to you was use the punishment of the process. They wanted to upset you, harass you, and show the mosque, look, we're on your side, mosque, we're on your side. This will go nowhere, but will cause them a load of issues and pain for 10 months. So that was your punishment, even though they knew it was going to go nowhere. Now, going back to the mosque, is there anything else over the last 10 months that you know about that you weren't allowed to talk about? Is what exactly is going on in that mosque? Because if you can just go into that, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. So what it is, like I said, there were 30 people who turned up to make my complaint, and it was my lawyers who told me that the reason why I got arrested, even though, like you just said rightfully, Nick, that they knew that it's not going to go anywhere, they're not going to be able to charge me, but like the process is the punishment. But the reason why I actually got arrested, but because the imam turned up to the police station and he said, you know what, we need to arrest this guy. Yes, he might not get anywhere, but we need to send him a message that you do not mess with the mosque. If you say anything to the mosque, this is what can happen to you. And this is probably a warning sign to other Muslims or the other people who are like me, who want to love the UK, who want to live in the UK, and just to let them know, if you're going to do that, guess what? You will be in jail. And I'm very much sure that when they found out that the charges have been dropped, they have gone back on that system again, make it complain against me and everything else. And this is the thing that I wanted to talk to you about when you talk about the mosque. So the mosque, the Swansea Mosque, I used to go there regularly. I've been going there for 2 years. But the problem started when I was disagreeing with them on the things that they were saying. There were things that was going on. And I used to say to them, like, why would you do that? Like, you're talking about the white people are racist. You're talking about, this is a Christian country. But you've got the freedom to be in your mosque all day long. Like, nobody says anything. I've been there 3 years. I've never seen any attacks, even though exactly with everything that was going on, I would have expected something to go wrong, but I've never seen anything. With all the pro-Paddy hateful marches that they were carrying out day in, day out, calling anybody and everybody who was white a Nazi, a fascist, a scum, and all these things, I said, nothing has happened to you guys. So when you come out and tell me that there is a problem with Islamophobia, oh my God, the poor Muslims need to be protected. Protected from who? Like, people need protecting from you guys, because I am here and I'm listening to what you are saying. So what they would do, they would get all the people, they would gather everyone around after a prayer, and they would say, hey guys, have a seat. And that's where their indoctrination starts from. They will say, you know what, guys, what you need to do now, right? You need to find out how to fill these forms in. You've got a colleague who's white. You've got a friend who's white. And he says, you know what, these asylum seekers are illegal. They're criminals. They're not welcome. Stop the boats kind of thing. You need to make sure that you are reporting them to the Prevent. And that's how the Prevent came to my house. So this is a tactic that's used by the Muslims. This is a tactic that is used by these people who are guests, basically, in the UK. But what they have done, when they came to the UK, unlike me, I came to the UK and I said, you know what, I want to make this my home. How do I become an asset to the country rather than being a liability? But when these guys turn up, well, they were, unfortunately, a lot of them were born in the UK. That's a very unfortunate thing. So when they were born in the UK, all they've seen is their parents, their grandparents who never had a job, or they relied on the public benefits. And back in the day, they could cheat the system very easily. Very easy. They were like, if you do this, you do a little bit of cash in hand, we'll have a takeaway here under someone else's name. And this is what we need to do. And that's how they will be in the same position as you are or someone else. But somehow they will have bigger cars, bigger house, amazing lifestyle. And then you have somebody exactly in the same position who is a patriot to the country, who don't want to rinse the system, who don't want to play the system, will be in a position where, unfortunately, they can't even afford a meal out with their family. So you have to see how is it that's happening. And that's what I started looking into it. And this is how they played the system. And everything. I used to work in Volkswagen Financial Services, where I had an amazing boss. He's a white guy. And then we have some of the workers that were hired while I was working there. And unfortunately, that was a Muslim lady who used to wear a headscarf. She was a Pakistani, but she was British born. And I remember when she joined the team, I was the first one as an immigrant who said to my boss that, you know what, you've made a bad decision by taking this woman in, because she does not work at all. She just sits there and she's not good at her work. She's not good with computers, and all we do is computers. So how did you guys manage to hire her? But it was back in 2018, 2019. There was no such thing as criticizing people will come up as racism, and especially if it's done by an immigrant. So I was fine. And I remember when I went to speak to one of my other colleagues, and she said to me, and she was a white colleague, and she said, this woman does not work at all. I just need to make sure that we know that what it is that she does. So my boss looked into it, and the moment he looked at it, that was I think 3-4 months in when she was hired. So when my boss turned up to that woman and he said to her, you know what, we have given you this many tasks, you haven't done anything. Why is it you're not doing the work? Rather than explaining the reason why she was not doing the work, she turned up to HR and she said, oh, you know what, this white man, our boss, which is an amazing guy, is a racist. And they were like, oh, how is he a racist? Oh, because I wear a headscarf, or he doesn't like me and he keeps going. Rather than the HR going in and looking into her work and comparing to what he is saying and what she's saying, which one is true, they literally put her on a leave for 6 months, full paid leave. Now we had 4 people in the team, and the company is not paying for 4 people. We only got 3 people working now. So 3 people now taking on the work for 4 people. Obviously, there will be a backlog. And that's exactly what's going on with these things. So when I was seeing these things, so I know there is a problem within the Pakistani community, within the Muslim and Bengali community. Everything is racism. If they're incompetent, it's the fault of the white men. White people's fault that we are incompetent. And I would say somewhere, yes, it is the white people's fault because they've gone too soft. They've gone soft to a point where these people just turn up and they're like, you know what, we are going to claim your benefit and there's nothing you want to do about it. And that's exactly what these Bengalis and Pakistanis have seen growing up, that our parents are taking money for free, yet they've got big cars, yet they live in an amazing house, yet they can afford all these lavish lifestyle, they can go to holidays and everything. And when they are doing it, why should we go on the paper and pay all these taxes for what? Why should we pay the taxes? We don't need to pay nothing. And this is the generations on top of generation. This is what they do.
And we need to understand that the reason why they're like this is because they were like this in their own country. Pakistan is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. So them ripping the system off here is exactly what they'll be doing over there. You can't even buy a bag of rice in Pakistan without checking it because it might not be rice, because everyone is ripping everybody off all the time and no one trusts anybody at all. So they've just imported that culture and kept that culture here. And they see the benefit system as it's there, we might as well rip it off because that's what we do. And there's nothing wrong in ripping it off because we've always done things like this. That's the culture of much of the third world. And we import it and we wonder why we're slowly turning into the third world. Let's end on this. So you're still a practicing Muslim. Are you still going? Obviously, I don't think you're going to the Swansea Mosque anymore. Are you going?
I don't go to any mosque.
You don't go to mosque. You don't go to any mosque because you feel you would have the same problem even if you went to a different mosque.
Yeah. And I know what's going to happen, that if I turn up to any of the mosque, they're going to call the police and they're going to say that, he antagonizes online and he does it, and I know the police will arrest me. And not only that, the mosque that I visited anywhere around the UK, which I think there are too many, there shouldn't be that many, first of all. And second of all, anywhere I visited, it's all about hate. It's all about telling, how you can't be friends with the white people, yet we are in the white country. Don't be friends with the white people, don't be kind to them, but make sure you take each and every penny of their benefit system. You take everything off them. But, this is, unfortunately, the reason why I wouldn't go to a mosque in this country, because I don't believe there should be any mosque in the UK because how corrupt they are, and the police have absolutely got no authority on the mosque, because if the imam says this is how it's going to be, then the police are like, this is how we're going to do it. So I don't go to any mosque.
So let's end on this question. What's your next step going forward? Are you going to put a complaint into the police? Are you going to put a complaint in about your old solicitors? What's the next steps for you?
So yes, I am planning to put in the complaint against the police officer, the sergeant, and the supervisor who've told the police not to speak to me, which I think is ridiculous. Being a police officer, you should be able to talk to anybody and everybody. You shouldn't be scared.
He's a public servant. He serves us. We pay his wages.
I know you're right, but like I said, this is how crazy it is. And the thing is, they can get away with it. The problem is they think they can get away with it, but I'm going to make it my mission that they don't get away with it. I know who this police officer is, even though they decided not to give me his badge number, not to give him his full name. But I found out because obviously they were, it's a small place. Everybody knows everybody. And another thing is, it's with my old solicitor. Yes, I will be putting a complaint against them as well. I will be making sure that they don't do what they've done to me to someone else by telling them, you know what, you would be getting charged. And, I think it's just an overreach by the police as well as that. And also, also, I don't know if many people know this, there were 2 police officers. They turned up to my workplace in the Swansea Council. The reason why I actually started, that was the start of me losing my job with the Swansea Council, because 2 police officers turned up to my workplace saying that, oh, you know what, he's a racist and we're looking for him. And they never did anything to me. They never came up to me. Nothing happened. They never spoken to me until today. It's been one year and 1 month on. I've been trying to get in touch with the police, and I've been asking them, who is those police officers that turned up to my workplace? They haven't given me a name. They haven't given me a badge number. Somehow those police officers have just disappeared. And, this is the corruption that I'm talking about. Just imagine somebody just turned up to your workplace. Like, for me, that is my life. That was my livelihood. The only money that I get is while I'm working. I don't get any benefits, and I don't need any benefits. I've always worked in this country, and that's exactly what I wanted. And the problem that I've got now, obviously the cases against me have been dropped. Like I said, there were 30 people turned up to make complaint against me, more than 50 referrals to the Prevent Counterterrorism Police about me. And then there are numerous complaints that went into the Pakistani embassy as well. Like, this is how far they're going. They're literally finding out everything about me. And now the problem that I've got, the problem that I'm sitting on right now, is the Home Office. The corruption that we have seen in the Home Office, where they're so incompetent to a point that they're handing out a British nationality like sweets. And here is a man who's been here for 10 years, married to a Welsh white woman, and now they're telling me they need to look into my case after refusing my application 3 months ago. So yes, I am in a position where I am. Well, I won't say I'm scared, like I'm not scared anymore. I used to, I'm worried. What they're gonna do? Deport me? Oh, go on then, deport me. I couldn't give a damn. But what it is now, it shows that the Home Office now sat on my application, open and wishing that I slip somewhere. So they will use that, and they will say, you know what? Yeah, we can't give you we can't give you the visa. And I am to a point now, I can't even apply for any jobs anymore, because I've neither legal nor illegal, but my actual, visa expired in August, which was a couple of months ago, and I applied for my visa extension 2 months in advance as well. So like, they've been sitting on my application for 4 months. Usually it takes them anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks to come back with a decision. In my case, because I know why it is, because the people in the mosque who work for the home office, they're saying, oh, you know what, make his life hell to a point where he folds and he leaves, because I got no money left. Like, I never had any credit card because I never needed it. A point has come where I am literally going around asking my neighbors, asking, some of my family members who, again, they like not to speak to me because of the things that I do. They're worried that they might lose their job. And I don't blame anybody, and unfortunately, it's a very unfortunate situation. Like I said, I am very much worried about what the Home Office is going to come back with, because what I've seen in this 11 months, the police can do anything. They can literally do everything, and there is no accountability. You cannot hold them responsible. Those times are gone when police used to do something wrong and you will turn up and you would actually get justice. There is no justice. And I know they will be making an example out of me by, well, they already have, by putting me in prison, by keeping my Home Office application. And they've put me in a point where they have access to my bank accounts, and they can see I've got nothing left. And they can see my rent is due. They can see my bills are due, and they know I can't pay any of that, and they're hoping that he will be like, you know what, I can't do anything. I might as well leave the country and go somewhere else where I can actually find a job, because they know I've got degrees. I can apply to go somewhere else. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm an immigrant. I get it. I can pack up and I'll be like, hey, bye, Nick. Bye, everybody else. Thank you very much for your for accommodating me for the last 10 years. But now I think things are getting hard. I need to fold. What about my wife? Where does she go? She's a white. It won't be fair for me to say, oh, you know what? Because I decided to leave because I can. You need to leave with me. No. Why should she? She got family here. Why is the Home Office putting their own people through something just because they got something against me? Like, how does this work? So, I don't know what's going to happen, man, but I'm not very happy about the whole situation. I'm not.
I don't blame you for not being happy. There's only one thing you can do, and that's keep fighting, because you've already beaten the police now. You've beaten the charges. The more you do sort of podcasts and interviews, the more we're getting your messages out there. And the more it's damaging the mosque, the more it's damaging people who hate this country, the more it's damaging the reputation of the police. And so it should. We need more voices like yours. We need more people speaking up. And maybe then, just maybe then, we can start improving the country. Same with the Home Office. Once you get a decision from the Home Office, please let me know. Come back on and we'll discuss the Home Office. I'm so happy all your charges have been dropped. But you've already been punished for that. You didn't have to send you to jail for that. They punished you with 10 months, 11 months of stress and pressure and ruining your reputation and making you lose your job and everything like that. But all you can do is be a man and keep fighting and not lying down and accepting it.
Yeah, no way. I'm not going to stop. And I think the mosque have realized that. The police have realized that. And yeah, I didn't stop when they put me in prison, because when I came out of the custody, I remember my solicitor called me the next day and they said, "Oh, can you please make sure that you don't go on your ex? Can you just keep a hold on it? And we don't want you to get in trouble." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." I said, "I'm already here in trouble. I'm an innocent guy. If they can put me in prison for absolutely nothing, I'm sure they will find something. Even if I shut my mouth up, they will find something." So yeah, I'm not stopping. I've done quite a few podcasts. Hopefully they are coming out soon in these things. The only thing that I'm annoyed about, I would say I'm really annoyed about, is the fact that, you know, you've got GB News who will be platforming hateful people like Bushra Sheikh and everybody else. I've given them my story numerous times, and I said, look, you know, I know you get people who say, oh, you know, the white people are racist, and this is the reason why white people are racist. But you will never have an immigrant on who will tell you the reason why I believe the white people are not racist. And I'm not saying it because I think so. I'm saying it because of the amazing thing the white people have done. Look, Nick, you are not obliged to do anything for me. If people are calling you racist, you shouldn't be giving me your platform. This is your platform. My story, but you are the reason why my story is going out. I can do this on my channel, and I highly doubt more than 3 people will watch it. But what I'm saying to these people now, you are quick to point fingers at people like Shomi Robinson, people like you, Nick. Oh, he's a racist. I see all the comments. I see how people say, oh, you know, you're a racist. You don't know what you're talking about. But how is it that there is a racist giving me a platform, an immigrant a platform, and you're nothing but kind to me? You've always been very helpful to me. You've always said to me, like you just said, you know, whenever you've got an update, come to my channel. So, you know, why don't the GB News, the Talk TV, will have somebody like me who's not from the UK, who does not claim to be British, Welsh, Irish, Scottish, or English? All I claim to be is a law-abiding citizen of the country. Why don't you have me on and have my say? Let your audience watch. Let all these hateful people who say, oh,
one day, maybe we'll get to that stage. One day. But until that happens, thank you so much for coming back on and updating us.
Thank you very much for having me, Nick. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.